everybody. It is Wednesday, November 25th, 2015. This is Radio Tokyo, and I'm your host, Jonathan. And of course, with me again, because he has to be here for this. This is awesome. We're doing some awesome shit today, really. We're talking about Captain America Civil War because the trailer is out, and oh my god, it's fantastic. It's probably the best thing I have seen at least this week, possibly this month. But what's bothering me is, of course, the reaction is, like when Batman vs Superman trailer came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, that's horrible! I don't want to watch that." But this comes out, and the internet goes out of its goddamn mind. So, what did you think, Nick? Did you like it? I know I liked it.
It was, well, first of all, hello everyone. Second of all, it is everything that I thought the Batman vs Superman trailer should have been. It is literally, it is everything the comics should have been. If you're going to do a civil war, this is how you do it. This is how it should be. It is perfection, at least from the trailer. I mean, the movie, they could still mess up the movie, obviously. But I have general confidence in Joss Whedon and Marvel's cinematic universe, at least. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was, the trailer itself is a work of art.
It was. It actually was. I watched it 3 or 4 times, and I was actually surprised at how short it was. It's like it's a standard length trailer, but typically when you watch a movie trailer, for example, Batman versus Superman, you kind of realize, oh well, hey, this is it's not that the Dawn of Justice trailer is bad. It's just it seems like it drags on and on and on in some parts of it, which is like my only thing about it. Like that they have expositionary dialogue where they probably don't need it, and it builds up story. But like for example, Suicide Squad trailer, you watch it, it's slow, but most of the dialogue gets out of the way in the beginning. Like it's all over and done with, about halfway through. The most of the talking's over with, and then it's action after that. The Deadpool trailer um, was
Well,
perfect.
that's something
The
interesting that I noticed about the DC trailer so far, is they have a lot of talking and exposition in the beginning, and then it's just action, 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 action. The Marvel trailers, on the other hand, they seem to be more kind of spread out and even throughout their trailers and advertisements. And
they
I mean,
are. They really are.
obviously
Uh,
we can't really compare the movies yet to see if that's indicative or indicative of what the movies are going to be like. But so far, the Marvel trailer seems to be having in general better receptions than the DC ones.
well, see, the thing is, okay, to me, DC has always had better stories. They always have. I'm not saying Marvel has got bad storylines. I'm not saying Marvel's got bad characters or bad writers or anything like that. I'm saying to me,
I
DC has
and
always had better
ex
storylines.
to some
So,
extent, I agree with you on that.
but if I'm gonna watch a movie, based on a comic book, I'm gonna watch a Marvel one for the action because that's pretty much what they fucking are. There is it's the way I have heard it was like an orgasm visualized. Like there's so much shit on the screen that you don't even have to worry about a plot, and there are plot
Well,
holes
no, Michael Bay has
everywhere.
that covered for
Well, no,
Michael Bay.
well, yeah, but that's like explosion orgasm. I'm talking like this is like pure joy. It's like this is what you're supposed to be seeing. Like there's there's nice music. There's pretty women, handsome men. A lot of action. Like it's what a movie's supposed to be. You're supposed to go there and be entertained. Like there's no actual uh well okay. Before I said there's no actual plot, let me say there's plot holes everywhere in every Marvel movie. It's everywhere. There is shit that they
Oh,
don't answer. And then you have to figure out, well, how is this shit all supposed to tie together? And then they come out with the TV shows like we've discussed in the past. Well, you have to watch, Agent Carter. You have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You have to watch Daredevil. You have to watch Jessica Jones. You have to watch all of this stuff that's coming out. in order to tie all the stuff together because the movies don't do it by themselves. But the DC universe is better crafted in that respect. The DC universe, it ties everything together. There may be a few plot holes here and there, but they always wind up typically having an explanation. Look at the
Well,
Christian Bale Batman movies. With
there I have to, wait, I have to stop you there for a second because DC has an interesting problem of its own now because its CW series are going to be in either conflict or direct conflict with their movie franchise now and their other series. Um, like I was talking about with The Flash, because how much of The Flash have you seen so far? Have you seen The Flash?
I've actually only watched the first episode. I haven't never gone back and finished it. I need to. I probably should. But watching the first episode, I was kind of hitting my head on my chair behind me the
Yeah,
entire time. It was like
a lot of people
it
have that
dragged.
reaction with the pilot episode, but I'm telling you, go past that. It's really, really good. There's a couple kinky flaws in it, but mainly what they try to do with Iris West's character, she seems all out of place a lot of the time. Um, Even though I really like the actress, I think she could do the role really well. It's just they don't give her a lot to work with. Um, but other than that, the series itself is actually really, really good. It's pretty great. Um, but they're introducing so many of the DC characters in the CW universe. Um, they have obviously the Flash, Arrow, Black Canary. They're bringing Hawkgirl in, Vibe, a number of villains. So, it, oddly enough, DC now has a split universe in the same way that Marvel has a split universe, except they're going to use the rights to both of them in both universes.
Well, see, here's my
Because
thing.
with Marvel, they can't use X-Men, obviously, and Fantastic Four, and we've talked about that before.
But yeah,
But now
but
DC is going to have two separate universes with two different Flashes, two different Arrows, and it's gonna get a little confusing, and it's a bit worrisome, because the Flash is really, really liked. People really love the Flash, and the movie itself is gonna have a lot to live up to now.
see, here's my thing, and this is why I think DC is probably going to be able to build a better story, no matter what the plot holes they have. If you look back at the history of their comic books, excluding all the restarts, they're always able to cover their own ass. They always are, every time. Um, the Flash is easily explained. Well, why is there a different one? For starters, the Flash has been known in the comic books to run so fast he can basically rip open time and space itself. He is a time traveler.
That's actually
Hang on. There is a storyline where he carries the message to Bruce Wayne from his father, even though his father is already dead in the current timeline. He's able to visit another reality and bring a message from Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry, Thomas Wayne to his son and explain to him this is why. Like it was intentionally done, because it was Barry Allen in both versions. So maybe what's going to happen, and this this would work for me. It would be very much aligned with the comic books. Maybe what they're going to do is they're going to have Barry Allen, the TV series, become a different Barry Allen for the movies, and it's going to be perfectly able. It's going to work. It's going to work to me because it would be very much out of the comic books. Now that might not be what they do, and that's fine. And I'm going to have all kinds of fucking problems if they don't do something like that. But to me, looking at Suicide Squad and Dawn of Justice, they do play hand in hand. Like and I feel like I can watch those, and I don't have to watch, you know, several seasons of a TV show that I don't give a good goddamn about to understand all these stories. Like for example, Um, Going back to Civil War, there is stuff that was set up on Agents of Shield for this. There was stuff that was in the last Captain America movie and the last Avengers movie, and
Yeah.
it all plays together. But to understand that, you have to watch Agents of Shield because the opening of the second Avengers movie is played directly off of that. Like to understand, well, why the hell are they in this country over here? Why are they attacking this base and everything? You have if you want to know the reasons why, you have to watch the TV show. The thing with the DC
Which is
universe is I don't feel that I'm going to have to watch the Flash. I don't feel like I'm going to have to watch Arrow or Supergirl to get to follow it. I'll know what's going on and I'll be able to accept it because the story will
which
be
is a
there to cover that.
disadvantage, at the but at the same time, as we seen with the trailer actually carries a lot more weight with it because you have all of this history. You have all of these ties and emotions. Even if you've only watched part of the things or just the movies themselves and not the TV shows, I still feel a lot of weight behind what's going on in the trailer. So it's
There is,
really an interesting
there is,
comparison.
but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's noticeable in the Civil War trailer, which we're going to get into here in a minute. But you notice it in the Dawn of Justice trailer. The way it's set up, they don't have to have backstories. Like you don't have to see, Batman becoming Batman like you always see. You
I
don't
would
have to
I
have
would
that.
disagree with that.
And
I actually would disagree with that
I
because I
don't.
felt
And the reason I don't,
no. Like I know Batman, I know Superman. You don't need to explain those things to me. But when I watch the Batman versus Superman trailer, I don't feel much emotional attachment or weight behind the conflict because I just I've seen so many different Batmans and so many different Supermans now that it's hard for me to just pick one of them to stick with at this point. The only thing I have to tie to is Man of Steel, which honestly, even though I love Superman, wasn't exactly his best movie to me. And so when I watched the Dawn of
maybe you need
Justice
to go back
trailer,
and watch the Brandon Routh one, and then tell me which one is worse. Because
I didn't
I am
say it was
sorry.
the worst.
I
I didn't say it was even close to the worst. But the first and second Batman, I mean not Batman, Superman. Obviously, the first and second Batman were also very good, but the first and second Superman, the very first and second Superman, are my favorites. And yeah, Superman Returns was actually absolutely horrible. It is. It does not deserve. It is one of my most hated movies of all time. And Man of Steel. I mean, it was not bad, but it did not. It didn't exactly excite me necessarily. And I felt like that with some of the Marvel movies as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Marvel movies are perfect by any standards. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just well, yeah. Let's actually get to the trailer because
yeah,
we keep
you know
comparing it.
yeah. Okay, so of course the title. We all know what we're dealing with here. It's Captain America: Civil War. But this has all been built up in all the movies. Like from the very first one until now. Um, Basic storyline here. Shit's about to go down. And the trailer, of course,
Yeah,
starts with Falcon and the Captain, and they have, very quickly become best buddies, which is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. Uh, but they have apparently found Bucky, and of course, Bucky has ran off at the end of the last Captain America movie. No one knew where he was at, and Black Widow was like, "Well, I'm gonna go do my own thing," and Captain America's like, "Well, I'm gonna go do my own thing," and then the next movie, which is the Avengers movie, you see them all together fighting again, and it's like, where the fuck did that plot line go? What's happened? And it's just kind of put out there like, oh look, they're gonna go their own way and do their own thing, and Shield just fucking imploded upon itself. You know, a lot of people are dead. You know, the three helicarriers are destroyed. Billions and billions of dollars are wasted. Tony Stark's time and investment is fucked. And the next movie, oh look, we're all fighting together. And then you get the one offhanded mention at the end with the helicarrier that shows up in Sokovia. And
And this is an interesting complaint that I have with the Marvel movie universe, is that it seems like the Captain America storyline is almost separate from the Avengers storyline and almost more important than the Avengers storyline in some ways.
it's not that it seems like it is. It is. I think what we're seeing when we watch Captain America, we're seeing the actual storyline. And see, out of all the Marvel characters, Captain America has always been my favorite because he has storylines that matter. Like he always do. Even when it's something silly, there's always something important to it. There's always something there. And I think genuinely Captain America should probably be a DC superhero because DC does deep, dark stories like that. Marvel doesn't. And Captain America really does not fit in with the rest of the storyline. You know what's going on. You know, like all these flashy superheroes. You know, we have a literal god here. We have a man with an iron suit. You know, we have Vision, which is what the hell you want to call Vision, a woman who can bend things with her mind, you know, a couple assassins, you know, people who can fly, you know, all this weird freaky shit going on. And then here's Captain America. It's a guy who's just strong and he's smart and he has a shield. That's it. That's it. He's
Well,
strong,
I mean,
smart, has a shield, and he
he's
is
kind of like he's a much more friendly Batman,
yeah, he is.
basically.
But see, the strange thing is,
So if
but
Batman was a if Batman was a nice, friendly public figure, he would be Captain America. That's basically what Captain America is.
But see, here's my thing. Captain America does not belong in the MCU anymore. He does not. I'm sorry. I like Captain America. I enjoy seeing him in the movies. I enjoy every Captain America movie. I enjoy the Avengers movie with him in there. But he doesn't belong. He no longer fits. And what the Civil War storyline is setting up is Captain America's going away. He's going away at some point in time. Whether he's going to retire or they're going to kill him off, I'm not sure. Most likely retire him. Uh, but he no longer fits. He has this very outmoded
Well,
mentality that does not fit with everyone else, and that's shown
well,
in hang on, and that is shown in the sequence. You know, following where they find Bucky and they're talking to him about what he's done. You know, and you see this series of explosions, and then you see all the people fighting and everything, and that pretty much sets up, you know, where Captain America stands. You know, and then there's the scene, you know, where he's actually fighting someone from Shield. I mean, Shield has turned against him. The good guys have turned against the best guy that we happen to have. I mean, the absolute best guy. They have turned the fuck against him, and they're not on his side anymore. Now, granted, you know, Shield was taken over by Hydra, and all that nonsense has gone on. But the reality is that the good guys have turned on the best guy. He's no longer fitting into that world. He cannot go dark. You know, like Batman is supposed to have this I can't kill mentality, even though he just beats the shit out of people and he's throwing them out of airplanes, whatnot, or whatever. Uh,
and repeatedly
Cat,
killed a couple people.
he's killed quite a few actually. But the reality is, Batman is actually a better person because he uses the darkness, he uses his anger, you know, to bring uh, a betterment to the world. Captain America is like, no, I have my code of honor. I stand for this. I don't agree with you. You know, if you say shit or fuck or anything like that, I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm Mr. Goody Two Shoes, and that's awesome. It's great to have someone like that in the world, but in reality is with what's going on in the MCU, Captain America is a throwback to a time and place where we're not going back. Like we cannot turn back to the 1940s mentality of essentially 100-year-old man right now. We cannot do that. The world will not
I
do
don't
that
know
again. The
necessarily
world
if
is
we
too
can't
violent.
do
It's
that
too
or we
dark.
just don't want
It
to do that.
do what?
I don't know necessarily if we can't do that or we just don't want to do that.
We're not going to. Look at the rest of the MCU. They're never going back. You're not going back to the day and time where Captain America you know was exactly what everything had to be, and that's because when Hydra was beaten, and of course you find out about this in Winter Soldier. When Hydra was beaten, they just infiltrated Shield. They are everywhere. Hydra is still there. It didn't matter whether you want to say Shield exists or not. It didn't matter whether you have the Avengers or whatever. Hydra is still there. They're still a problem. They are all over society, and it's a huge problem. So to have the one guy standing there saying, "Look, you know, things can get better. Back, he comes just shy a lot of times saying, "Well, back in my day," but no, what you see is he's trying to stand up to all of this, and he can't. There's no way that he's going to be able to with the entire world against him. And I'm saying that
I,
no, and hang on, I'm saying that knowing that Captain America comes out the winner. I know he's going to win because he's right. He's always right. He's, good always overcomes evil and everything like that. And I get that. That that's his whole point, of being Captain America. But the reality is Captain America should not be winning this, and he should be phased out of the MCU because he doesn't fit with the rest of the characters. Times are changing, and Captain America needs to grow up and fight back. That's really what I'm getting at.
I completely disagree with you, but let's move on.
So why is it you disagree with me? I mean, even though Shield has, like I said, is turned against him, and you have uh, the soldiers that were once led by the person who's going to become Crossbones, shooting at him, and all these, all this crazy things going on, and War Machine comes in with Iron Man, and then what?
Because that is literally what Captain America stands for. It is literally what he says it in the second movie, in The Winter Soldier. He says the price of freedom is high, and I'm willing to pay it, which literally means that he is willing to go against the government. He is willing to get shot out by his friends. He's willing to let his friends die. That is literally what he is saying when he says that. And he is willing to fight his friends. That is essentially what Captain America is. It's why he has so much conflict with everyone else. Because he literally stands for freedom. And he knows that the price of freedom is people are going to die. And you can, sure, we can say that is too high a price to pay. It certainly is to some people. And they would be completely right, in their opinion, because that's their opinion.
Well, see,
But
okay,
what Captain America is saying is that, yeah, we're going to face danger, bad things are going to happen, but the ability to be free, the ability to keep doing what we're doing the way we do it, is more important than uh people dying.
that makes me okay.
And that's where the conflict starts between him and Tony Stark. Because Tony Stark says people dying is too high a price to pay, and some freedom needs to be sacrificed.
Okay, basically what I get from Captain America is one of my favorite Sam Houston quotes. The condition of the country is such, the dangers which beset it are so numerous, the foes of the Union so implacable and energetic, that no risk should be heeded by him who has the voice to raise in its behalf. And so long as I have the strength to stand, I will peril even health in its cause. I get that. It's wonderful to be a patriot and everything, but essentially what okay, for those of you who aren't familiar with what's going on, so war storyline, um, Captain America has gone around being uncontrolled. He's able to go. Okay, he has the most jurisdiction of any law enforcement official ever. He can go anywhere he wants to and do whatever he wants to, and no one stops him because he's Captain fucking America. Okay, and it's sort of like how people view the United States right now. You know, we're the police of the world. Okay, Captain America is the police of the world, and he is the one person who stands up amidst everything that's going on, and and this is where Nick and I are in agreement on this. Captain America, is he's essentially the symbol of hope. He's like everything will be okay. Just do the right thing. Um, but the problem is the rest of the world does not see that as being good. Tony Stark is one of the first people to speak up and say, no, look, some things are a bit too much, and that's what started uh, uh, the Shield program that he had, where he wanted to put like the Iron Curtain, whatever the hell they called it, around the planet, because he has seen what is out there, and that's going back to the first Avengers movie, where he was in uh, another part of space, seeing the Chitauri army coming towards Earth. He's seen that. He knows what's out there, and what he wants to do is limit Captain America and say, hey, we need to focus on an actual outside threat rather than internal. And Captain America's whole thing is like, no, there's problems here that will destroy us if we don't take that out. And that more than anything leads to it's a power struggle. Tony Stark wants to solve outside problems. Captain America wants to solve inside problems, and that, like I said, more than anything, is what leads to the big conflict between
I'm not,
the
I,
Captain
I'm not
and
even sure
and
it's
Iron Man.
that. I think Tony completely dismisses the inside problems. He's like, I can solve this. It's really easy. I build a robot army. They police the world. Bam, we're done. We can just relax now until something actually really bad happens. That's Tony Stark's thing.
Well, we'll see.
When
Okay,
I watch the movie, that's what I get from Tony Stark.
here's the thing. I agree with Tony Stark. Yeah, certain problems, probably don't need to be solved. But Captain America winds up being right. You have Black Panther show up in the movie, and Black Panther, by the way, for those of you who don't know, winds up following Tony Stark. He follows Tony Stark rather than Captain America, because Captain America is right. He's like, and there's a series, there's a chase sequence in the trailer, which if you get a chance to watch it, look at it, and it comes right around the time that you see Captain America. Well, it's after it, or maybe before it in the movie. I'm not sure. But the Avengers are assembled. You have Falcon, Hawkeye, Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Bucky, Iron Man, War Machine, and presumably Ant Man will be showing up for this too. But they all
And
seem to be
Falcon.
facing off against Black Panther, and then that leads to the chase sequence. At least in the trailer, it does. And what you see there is Captain America is chasing Black Panther, and there's all these police, there's police vehicles chasing Captain America. So presumably, Black Panther comes in and represents some kind of threat that everyone comes together and like, hey, no, we're not going to do this,
I
and then he winds up working with.
that's not what I got from the trailer actually. What I got from the trailer is that the Avengers were actually fighting against Iron Man and War Machine, and Black Panther intervened and was fighting against Captain America's side. And then Captain America is chasing Black Panther, and the police are chasing Captain America, or some sort of twist of that.
Or we'll see. When you put it that way, it could be that Black Panther is bait to get Captain America to come out, and it really it works either way. And I'm sure we're going to find out when the movie comes out. What the hell? Well, actually, I know we're going to. What's going on. But there's towards the end of the trailer, uh, there's several scenes that just it makes you stop and think about what's going on. And the first one is War Machine laying on the ground in like a small crater. There's burning stuff behind him, and Tony Stark is standing over him, like cradling his body. The face mask on War Machine has been ripped away. The chest portion has been ripped out, and it's like, hang on a minute, the fuck just happened to War Machine? Who could possibly do that? Like who in all the MCU that we know is in the movie is strong enough to do that? And that leads at some point in time to another scene, which we're going to get to in a second. But there's a conversation inserted in here um, about trying, and we all know it's trying to find Bucky, or I think it is at least. Um, Captain America is talking to Iron Man, and he says he was my friend, and just the look on Robert Downey Jr.'s face in this tells you everything you need to know. He's looking at him, and you, you see that moment of disbelief come across his face, and he goes, "So were you." And just listening to that is like, this shit is deep. Like this is more than just
That
disagreeing on registering yourself and your ability with the government. Like this is you know Anakin, you were my brother. You were supposed to bring balance to the force, not leave it in darkness. Like it is that eternal split. Like that friendship is over. They're not going to be best men at one another's weddings now.
that was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen. And perhaps I mean, perhaps it's actually that moment that separated this from Dawn of Justice for me personally, because with Batman versus Superman, um, it we know it's going to be resolved at the end, and they're going to form the League of Justice. Um, and so I mean, the fight's gonna be the movie should be good. The movie obviously should be good. It should hoping it's gonna be great. But that moment of finality, that moment of just these consequences are final. There's something really heavy here that just hits home, and it just it broke my heart to watch that when he's
It's
just so are you.
I
It's
mean
really one of the most moving moments I've ever seen.
it it's probably the most sobering moment in the trailer at all. I mean you realize and I'm just gonna use a $10 word here, the gravitas of the situation. Like you realize what's going on at that moment when Tony Stark is like, "So were you." It's like holy shit. These people, who have gotten along the past. Now, granted, they've had the moments where they've butted heads and everything. And okay, we have to back up and talk about Bucky for a second. We have to, okay? It's important to remember Bucky is a fucking terrorist. Okay, he's a terrorist. He has killed people. He's tried to kill Captain America. He's tried to help Hydra take over the world. He is a definite bad guy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he's a very reformed bad guy. Very, very
Well,
much.
he was a mind-controlled bad guy.
He was, but essentially, every government in the world is out to get Bucky Barnes because, again, he's a terrorist. He's essentially the most wanted
And
person in the world. Shield wants him.
and
Every
what
police
one of
department,
the most
every government wants him.
one of the most interesting things I thought on the trailer was the very beginning, because I wonder if this would have happened if do you remember the very beginning where Captain is talking to Buggy and he says, uh, "Men are coming to get you, and they're not here to take you alive."
Yes, yes. The the
Um,
the the
I,
the,
I,
the
I'm
world
sure that
wants.
Captain understands that. Yeah, I'm sure that Captain understands that Bucky needs to at least go to trial. At the very least, for all the things that he's done. But these people are just out to straight up murder him. I'm sure partly to cover up some of the crimes that the governments have committed. Because remember that Bucky worked for a lot of the governments, mainly the Russian government, according to the storyline, but also for the American government and several other ones as well. So they're straight out to murder Bucky. They don't want to
Which
take
okay,
him alive. They don't want him to stand trial.
that okay, that leads to another scene in the trailer. Uh, the there's a flight sequence in here, and it looks they're in the mountains. I don't know where they are, but it's for the length of time it's on the screen, you can see exactly what's going on. It's Captain America by himself. I'm sorry, Iron Man by himself fighting the Captain and Bucky, and I mean it's a really impressive sequence. It's a really short sequence, but there's a scene in there somewhere where uh, Bucky has apparently shoved Captain America back against the wall, and he's grabbing at the arc reactor in his chest like he's going to pull it out. And earlier, when I mentioned, War Machine on the ground with his chest ripped out, that seeing that one quick shot of Bucky trying to rip out Captain America's chest, that makes me think, oh shit, Bucky is who killed War Machine. Well, he may not be
Yeah,
dead,
I mean that's
but he's definitely taking him out of commission, for the rest of the movie. But this sequence is like holy shit. I mean, it's they're both going against Iron Man, and he's capable of holding his own, we think, for a while. But just the sequence of like just Captain America is like boom shield, Bucky has the shield, boom hits Iron Man, and the shield goes like they switch back and forth before Iron Man can even react, and it it's amazing to watch, because who Captain America wins. We all know he's going to win. He's the good guy, and Tony Stark's being the asshole. You're not supposed to actually do bad, register or whatever. Anyway, but just that sequence shows you how much in tune Bucky and the Captain are. I mean, it's like they don't have to speak. They can just essentially finish one another's sentences. Only they're
well,
smashing Iron Man in the face with a shield.
it makes sense. I mean, they've been friends for far longer than Iron Man has known the Captain. Honestly,
Longer than Iron Man's even
they've
been
been,
alive.
huh?
Longer than Iron Man has even been alive.
Yeah. I mean, they were childhood friends. They grew up together. They fought in the war together. The only time they spent apart was the brief amount of time where Steve Rogers was becoming Captain America. Other than that, they've always been together.
It's it. I'm actually at a loss of words to what to say right now. Um, as excited as I am for Donald Justice, I'm probably more excited for this just because like we mentioned at the start of this, it's nice to see that dynamic actually shown. Like it seems like this is going to be a really huge point in the MCU where it's essentially make or break for certain characters. Um,
Yeah.
and like honestly, as much as I think Captain America seems like he didn't belong in the MCU, after Civil War, you know, assuming they follow the comic book storyline, which we know they're going to because they had the movies lined up, um, he's still going to be a part of it somehow. But my concern is
Well, um,
my
going back, the whole thing with Captain America has been an interesting thing with the Marvel and Disney, from a business perspective, because of Chris Evans himself. Chris Evans likes playing Captain America. However, he doesn't want to act anymore, or only act for the Marvel films. But he doesn't want to be in the starring role anymore like he has been. And one of the interesting things is it's built into his contract, and I'm not really sure if this was from a story point perspective that this was already established, and that it just worked out for him this way, or that they did it because of his desire to stop acting, at least until the Infinity Wars movies. But basically, he has a break in his contract after this movie until the Infinity Wars movies in was it 2019?
Something like that, yeah.
Um, and one of the most interesting questions to me is, did Marvel change the way they were going to do the story? And decided to use the Civil War because of how Chris Evans felt about acting. Like, he has a serious desire to stop acting. Like, I'm trying to think of another actor that would be comparable to this that's been in the franchise but just didn't want to do it anymore. Can you think of anyone?
Not anyone who's been in a franchise, at least off the top of my head. But there's been people like Danny DeVito who has just stopped. Not Danny
Yeah.
DeVito. Uh, he still shows up every now and then. What's his name? He was in I should know this man's name in Home Alone.
Macaulay.
No, no, no,
What?
no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. The old man, the shorter man. I should know his
I'm
name.
not. Oh, oh God, this is embarrassing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. Uh, anyway, moving on. He just kind of dropped off the face of the earth as far as being in movies because he just wanted to quit. There's a lot of actors who have done certain things, and they've come to a point where it's either become stereotyped or quit, and they just quit. So I understand, Chris Evans wanting to quit because it really he doesn't really get to do anything else. Uh, Other actors,
He's actually hated being an actor until Captain America. He has hated the roles that he had in the past. Even when he was doing Fantastic Four before, he hated the way they portrayed Human Torch. He really does. The only role that he has genuinely liked is being Captain America. Like, I'm trying, at least from what I've gotten from his interviews and what I've read about him, because I'm trying to get across just how strongly he feels about this. And I'm wondering if Marvel knew this from the beginning and modeled the story around it, or if the story was already in place like this and it just worked out very conveniently for what he wanted.
it's probably uh, modeled around it. For okay, the reason I'm saying this is uh, look at Deadpool. Uh, that was always fucked up from the beginning. The first movie was wrong. When she left the next movie was wrong. Uh, but with this movie, like this is the one role and I just forgot his name. I am a we're
Oh,
bad today. We're bad today. Um,
this,
wow.
uh,
I'm sorry.
uh,
I just went blank.
I'm never good with names. You're supposed to be the one that's good with names. That's what you're here for.
Ryan something. Anyway, whatever it is. Anyway,
Yeah, him.
uh, this is the one role he wanted to do. So with Chris Evans, being Captain America, it's the one role he wanted to do. And I'm sure at the beginning, it's like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do it this way. Can you help me do it this way? Well, we're not going to do it that way. Uh, but Deadpool, like I said, is like it's the movie that and the character he wanted to play his entire life. I get that. Captain America worked for Chris Evans. He's a good at Captain America. I like him more as Captain America than I did the Human Torch or any of the roles he's been into. But you see a lot of other actors that are in these series of movies showing up in other things. Chris Hemsworth, has got the movie where he's playing not Ahab. Um, it's supposed to be the movie that the movie based off the book that inspired Moby Dick, even though most people aren't even aware that Moby Dick was based off of real things. And who's going to give a shit? I mean, they're going to go watch it because it's Moby Dick, which is what it is. I'm sorry, that's what it is. But anyway, you see that uh, he still has to play essentially the same thing. He has to play. Well, I'm the leader. I'm the tough guy. I have my long hair. Here's me screaming. Like it's the same role. Chris Evans really
Yeah.
hasn't done anything else. And that goes along with the rest of the cast. Robert Downey Jr. really hasn't done much else since he started doing Iron Man and everything else. He did uh, the Judge.
Sherlock.
Yeah, well, no, no, no. He's even dropped off Sherlock Holmes. He's even dropped off that. They're not making any more of them apparently. But he did the Judge.
I've heard he made one of the movies afterwards.
There was two movies, but they were both made before the MCU really took off. Like he did a couple Iron Man, and then I think the first Avengers was out, and then he did the second Sherlock Holmes, and that was it. But he's fantastic in that role. I love him as Sherlock Holmes. But his
Oh yeah, he was amazing.
he was it was
As
beautifully
good as
done.
Benedict Cumberbatch is, I still like Robert Downey Jr. more.
But he did, like I said, he did the movie called The Judge, and oh man, The Judge is good. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. Watch it if you get a chance. But you don't really see these actors showing up in other things because of the time constraints on those roles. They have to be there in those movies. They have to film this. They have to film that. They have to do this and that and everything. And that's what's surprising about uh, Robert Downey Jr. He was only supposed to be in 6 movies. This will be, I believe, his 7th movie overall, 7th or 8th movie, I think. I forget off the top of my head. He did Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, both Avengers movies, which would be no wait,
I think he
no wait,
honestly loves playing Iron Man.
this, this will be 6. I'm sorry, this will be 6. No, no, wait,
I'm
hang on a minute.
sure.
Let me count. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, and he was in both Avengers. That's 5. Yeah, this will be 6. So he'll have fulfilled his contractual obligations after this.
I mean, I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. is a little tired of playing Iron Man, but at the same time, I think it seems like all of the Marvel cast loves playing the roles that they're playing, which is an amazing thing, honestly.
Really, if they
But
didn't,
I
they
can
probably would
also
not come back to the role. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can certainly understand them wanting to take breaks or to quit for a while because it's a lot to just keep doing the same role over and over and over again.
But then again, this is steady work for them, and they're quickly becoming some of the higher paid actors and actresses in Hollywood because they're able to continually do these movies, and it's not as if anyone's ever going to stop going to seeing the movies. So they're going to go keep watching them. It's just like watching a Batman movie. Everyone will go see Batman. Everyone will go see Star Wars, even if it sucks. I'm not saying it's going to suck. By the way, we're still somehow a month away from that, even though it's December 18th when it comes out. And you would think, well, that's not that long from now. Yeah, we're still about a month away from that, which is it makes me sad
I
to think about this.
I
Like,
cannot
like
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I literally cannot wait. I want to see it so bad.
see what bothers me is when it was November 18th, we were a month away, and here we are now. We're still a month away. It's like it's never going to be here. It just seems like it's never going to arrive, and it kind of makes me sad. But yeah,
As long as a nuclear war doesn't occur before that date, I think we'll be okay.
I still plan to go see it. I really do. I haven't bought my ticket yet. I'm probably a dumbass for not doing that. But the last time I bought an
Yeah, you're
advance
not
ticket,
gonna be able to see it opening day. Maybe not opening weekend. It's
the la-
they are actually booked.
the
I
la-
have never heard of a movie being booked before.
I have.
I,
Uh,
I
the last time a Star Wars movie came out, Episode 3, I was going to go see it.
That's true.
I was going to go to the midnight showing for it. And then the local theater made the brilliant decision to show it not just in one theater, but on all six screens. Uh, we were at the end of the parking lot. Like we drove in the parking lot and walked into the line, and we were actually past the edge of the parking lot for the theater. The line was that long. Like it went.
Oh,
Uh, okay,
no,
okay.
I don't mean like that. No, no, I understand being booked from the line. What I'm saying, pre-ordered. They have pre-ordered all of the tickets already. I have never heard of a movie being sold out from pre-orders before.
That
That's what I'm
well,
saying.
this is the same thing. Hang on a minute. Okay, the line. By the time that we were told the tickets had sold out, Uh, and keep in mind this was for a midnight showing. Okay, this is a midnight showing. The next day we couldn't get tickets either. I did not get to see episode 3 until the Monday after it came. It came out on a Thursday. Okay, the midnight release was on a Thursday. Opening day was Friday. The first ticket I could get, I didn't get until Monday. It took me that long to get a ticket for it because it was sold the fuck out. Everyone bought advance tickets in advance. Okay, uh, but the last time I tried to get an advance ticket was to see one of the Transformers movies. I think it was the second one. No, it may have been Dark of the Moon. I don't remember. Anyway, I was going to go, and I bought the advance ticket. We showed up, and what had happened was apparently the theater had resold all the tickets. They didn't take out advance tickets, so they just resold the seats. It was literally standing room only for this movie, and I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to sit in the aisle. I mean, there was no every seat was there. People are just standing to watch. I'm like, no, fuck this shit. So I've been very hesitant on getting an advance ticket, so I'm probably not going to be able to see the new Star Wars movie opening weekend because there's most likely no way in hell I'm going to do that. I would have to go into the theater and ask them in person, like, hey, is there any tickets left? And you just hope to God that I get one, and then go see it. But I'm probably better off waiting, like opening night. I'm not going to get in. Maybe the next day because our theater starts showing movies around noon. So maybe that Saturday. I don't know, but I'm excited for. I really am. I really am. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for this coming out. I'm excited for Thunder. Like everything coming out. From now until forever. I'm excited for it, and I hope the world does not end. So don't do that, Obama. Don't do that. Don't let the world end.
And don't do it, Putin. Putin, don't anyone do it. Don't just let the world be. Let us watch our movies. Let us be happy. Let us have peace. Peace around the world so we can watch movies.
Pretty much. Initially this was just supposed to be like a normal 15, 20-minute show, but I think this is just going to go ahead and be a full-on episode because we're about an hour right now. Which, acknowledging that, that's a good point to stop for today, I think. Um, yeah, let's see. Thanksgiving is tomorrow in America, and then Friday is coming up after that. Where the hell did the week go? It seems crazy to just realize it's Wednesday and tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and then another show after that, and then the weekend.
It's just time seems to fly by. But the faster that time moves, the faster we get to see the Star Wars movie. So that
Well,
works out.
that's true, but then again, we're still a month away. I mean, we're a month. Like I said, on the 18th, we're supposed to be 1 month away, but now we're still a month away, and it's the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal. Like, really, I I secretly wish time would move faster, but at the same time, I wish it would, like, really, I've kind of wondered where the hell this year went to. Like it's all of a sudden November. It seems like just the other day it was Halloween. Where the hell has all this time gone?
It's just moving along. We're just here for the ride.
I guess. But I think that's probably going to be it for the day. I don't really have much else to add as far as Captain America. Do you, Nick?
No, I think I'm good.
Well, I guess it's going to work for me if it works for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to all of you on Friday. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I almost said happy Halloween there. But no, have very happy Thanksgiving. Uh, yeah, we'll talk to you Friday. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it everywhere, subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, and tell us what you think about Captain America. Whose side are you on in this?
The captain side.
Of course.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving. Eat well and enjoy.
Bye, everybody.